a article by The Athletic. LeBron James not closing door on return to Cleveland for third time. What'd I tell you? He gonna hoop up with Bronny.
How you gonna... Man, are they gonna trade the whole mob to get Bronny in the first?
Yeah, we gonna fleece Cleveland. Hey, yo. All right, cool. This ain't that bad. Just wait it out. We gonna fleece Cleveland in like 3 years.
Whatever, LeBron. Do you, man?
I'm over it. That's why I didn't want LeBron in the first place.
You and me both.
What's good, family? Welcome to a Minor Hoops podcast, the show with the freshest opinions and views on the world's most beautiful game. I'm your host, Greg, and I'm here with the homies, TK, Dunkman, Keith, and Brian. How we feeling, boys?
Feeling good. It's All-Star Weekend, basketball break, but no break for us. This is the time we dive in a little bit more, but I'm just really excited to watch all the festivities take place.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of it early. Saw the celebrity game. We saw the Rising Stars game. Those were pretty good. I think that format's a success. But yeah, man, I'm excited. This is exactly right. This is exactly what we turned up. We hit a gear around the end of the like the Spurs back when they were in their dynasty. No.
Okay then.
The Bulls in the 90s.
Bulls. No, they were going crazy all year long.
The Lakers. Period.
Going crazy. Oh, I don't know. Period. You might want to change that. It's been a rough year. They're sub 500 right now.
I'm just saying Lakers organization. Period. You're talking about dynasties.
I was just talking about
Consistent.
Oh, no, not the Lakers. Not the Lakers. Not the Lakers. Not the Lakers. The Lakers in the early 2000s.
Oh,
man, we got a good show for y'all today. We appreciate y'all being with us. If you are listening on any of the audio platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, you name it, we appreciate you. Like the show, rate the show 5 stars, 4 stars. Anything below that, you can keep that because like my mama say, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. And to the folks watching, we thank you and appreciate you. If you are new to the show, subscribe, hit the bell, comment below to join the conversation because we love the conversation. Because, hey, man, that's all we are. We just a bunch of hoop fans that love the game, man. You ready?
I'm with it.
Start with some bad news.
Of course.
So casually.
Boys, wow.
Let's start with some bad news.
Anthony Davis out at least 4 weeks. He will be out after MRI showed that he has a mid-foot sprain. That was announced this past Thursday. And this is not the first time he's been out for a significant amount of time. He also missed 17 games from late December to late January with a sprained MCL in his left knee. Anthony Davis hasn't played awful, but he has been out for an extreme amount of time.
He hasn't played awful, but he hasn't played.
Yeah. 23-9 this season when he has played. And, yeah. I'm looking at this. I felt bad. This is one moment where I looked at LeBron and I saw his face. And I'm like, dang, there was a little bit of pity in there. Like, it was a small amount of pity. I was like, dang, bro. He don't believe in this dude no more. In terms of, like, he ain't going to be here. He may think he can shoot. He may think he can get a board, catch a lob. But he don't believe in him to be around anymore. And you know what's funny is? Go ahead.
LeBron, we all know LeBron has a lot of people in the media world who advocate and kind of get his message out.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't no coincidence when AD went down, all of a sudden, AD might need to get traded. The Lakers might need to start thinking about trading AD this summer. Hey.
I think that was going to pop up regardless, though.
Nah.
Yeah.
You know,
we were just talking about the Lakers fan base and
the fan base, yes.
Yeah.
When like I said, that's why I say like LeBron.
When Stephen A brings it up.
Stephen A, Kendrick brought literally all of a sudden in 3 days after his injury, it was 5 different people start saying Lakers might need to start really thinking about trading AD. That might really need to be the move. That hadn't happened all year. They talked about trading Russ all year.
Yeah, but with AD, you go down again.
It's
about time for those. Yeah, I was just about to say it's warranted for those discussions to start popping up. It is very surprising to hear,
though. But once again, it's one of the things. If LeBron makes it clear AD's untouchable,
Fair.
This isn't a conversation.
It is not. It's not even gonna pop up in the media. That's fair.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I'm just saying, it's not a coincidence 2-3 days
But
after
we know
the
how it
injury.
is. We know how it works. Like,
That's
I'm
how
not
it
even going to
goes.
say it's not a coincidence. Like, at this point, it's like a pattern of how I understand LeBron ran organizations operate.
Very
You know
true.
what I mean? So, and I'm not even that sick about it because LeBron's 37, 38. Like, at this point, AD, if you can't stay on the floor for LeBron trying to get, his last ring or his last couple of years before he retire, then yeah, you realistically need to be traded. I can't get mad at that statement. But you are right. Those conversations wouldn't happen if Braun just came out and was like,
Cut the talk out.
yeah,
Stop that.
like that's
Yeah.
just
We're
noise.
not discussing
Yeah,
this.
that's just noise. 2 years ago, he would have came out there and was like, that's
Exactly.
just noise. So.
It's weird because like we said, we've had the conversation about Anthony Davis for some time. I'm broke.
Street clothes.
Street clothes. We have this talk. AD being overrated offensively.
He's full.
This is partially the reason why.
Didn't want to play the 5.
And I think we're at a new space for Anthony Davis, and I don't think this is a space that he can control.
First time in his career.
I don't think this is something that he can control. I think we're at a position where we have to look at Anthony Davis, and just to be quite frank, and I said this might be a thing when we were talking about street clothes. I said he might be already outside of his prime.
Injuries, man.
And I think that's where we're at now. Anthony Davis is no longer in his prime.
Okay, so I'm going to push back on that just a little bit.
Yeah, I was about to say a little
Because
get back.
Once again, I don't think he's out of his prime necessarily. When you say out of your prime, that means you can't perform at that level. Like, he can.
He gotta
We've
show
seen
me
him do it even
consistent.
this season. Like, he can play like a top 5 player in the league. He can play like the most dominant big man in the league for stretches. But can he sustain it? That's a different question. Can he play without getting injured? That's the question.
But isn't that a part of the definition of being in your prime?
I was about to say.
Like
say
how we
so.
how
I
we
wouldn't say
defining
so.
you as a prime being in your prime as a player?
I always thought prime had to go with the level of talent and ability you were able to produce. But then when you think about production, you do think about consistency.
Exactly.
So I do think they go hand in hand, one more so the other. The ability to actually produce the talent on the court
Yep.
is higher than the actual ability to sustain it.
Right.
So I would say I agree that you should challenge whether he's still in his prime or not because, the best ability is availability.
Mm-hmm.
But from the stretches that we've seen of him on the court, like any trade that involves Anthony Davis, if he's healthy afterward, you lost that trade. So that's still how I feel about his talent level. But I'm not mad at anybody who's just like, no, can't touch it. Like every time he plays more than 24 minutes, he has to sit out 10 games. If that's the trade-off, then I can say that he's out the
$100 minutes.
It's
And that's
am
my
I wrong?
and that's
though? Like
no.
I
you're
might
not
be
wrong.
over exaggerating, of course,
No,
right
I
then.
know,
But
we all know it's
yeah,
hyperbole,
but it's realistically, it's like you can't play more than 12 games in a row at
No.
20 minutes plus.
No, like when I say prime, like I envision a prime. Basically, I've always said the prime is that period of time in your career where physically your body and your mind are all kind of locked in, perfect. Normally, that's for most guys, it's somewhere between the ages of like 26 to like 31. 32.
Yeah, 31, 32.
Yep.
Somewhere in that range. AD has shown in the last 3-4 years when he's on the court, he's that guy. Your point of him not being able to stay on the court, I totally agree with. And I do think that is a cause of concern.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make me say he's not in his prime. It makes me say he's not healthy.
Fair.
Like, to me, those are two different things.
I think no, and you defined it. I like your definition, but then you kind of walk back. You kind of contradict yourself a little bit because you said this is what you said. You said, well, your prime is being physically and mentally at your peak.
Facts.
He's not physically.
He's not in his
But-
peak anymore. And this is the evidence.
I can't say he's not physically at his peak when I literally watched him the other night dunk on 2 dudes. Like,
But then we watched him the other night.
he fell on
And
fell
rolled
on
his
somebody's
ankle.
leg and rolled his ankle. Like, I can't, like, to me, that doesn't mean you're not physically at your peak. It means you just have the worst luck possible. This man literally gets freak injuries every other week. I can't say that's not.
But
him
I
physically
think
at his
freak
peak.
injuries
Luck or
every
not.
other week aren't freak injuries anymore. That's
I feel
how
you.
I believe. Like if you are turning your ankle or you are getting these nicks and bruises and you're constantly taking 17s out, 20 games out, 10 games out here, eventually your health is your health. It's not freak incidents or accidents anymore. It's you're rolling your ankle every time you step on anything. Or
I respect it.
And that's what it is. Like, AD has entirely too many DMPs for me to consider him being physically at his peak anymore. Talent-wise, yes, he is that guy. Still, I think he can be that guy if he was able to put together an 82-game season. I don't think he's ever going to be able to put together an 82-game season.
I don't think he needs to. Nobody's really going to do it anymore. But like the majority of a season,
70 games.
Last time he played 70 games was in 18.
Like I just don't. I don't see it.
Played 62 his first year with the Lakers when it was a shortened season. So.
Exactly.
And we had the breaks and etc. Yeah, so that only count for so much in terms of like the games consecutively. But
so I can't look at AD and say he's in his prime anymore. I have to look at him and say like we got to monitor him like we would monitor an old head.
I mean, I would look at him and say I would look at him as compromised. I wouldn't say he's not in his prime because, like I said, it wouldn't shock me in 4 weeks if he somehow does come back. Even though I don't think he will in 4 weeks. If he comes back in 4 weeks and he's dunking on dudes again, like I can't say he's not physically at his peak. It's just, bro, just keeps getting hurt. Like it's weird.
I see your argument.
Weird.
I see your argument, but like
and keep getting hurt.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I think that's the part where it's kind of like it's not clicking.
I get y'all. I get what y'all are saying. I'm just saying, like to me, it's hard for me to say somebody's not physically at the peak when I can
he gets
watch
hurt,
him
comes
jump on
back,
the court
and then it just looks
catches one hand dunks everywhere. It's like he's when he's there, he's physically at his peak. But for some reason or another, he keeps getting hurt. And nobody can understand it. Nobody can figure it out. It seems like no training staff can figure it out. Maybe that's just who his body. Maybe that's what his body has always been.
It could be like that. The one thing I will say about Anthony Davis and his health, or as it pertains to his health, that I think that we can all agree on is, well, I'm not going to say all agree on. It's how I see it. I believe Anthony Davis is still in his prime. I believe his prime is jeopardized because of his health.
Now that I can agree with.
Now, I'm not going to say he's out of his prime, but this prime could be done in, like, years shorter than what it was supposed to be because of his health, and we're on the verge of that happening.
Like I said, if he comes back next season, he can't physically dominate, then I would look at y'all, but yeah, he's out of his prime. Injuries took his prime.
The weird part about it is, I don't want to put that out there, but if I had to bet on or against Anthony Davis's health,
now that's
going into the future,
I would be right there with you.
Yeah, that's the only thing. So like I said, I don't want to wish anything bad on AD. It's all health. Like I would love to see one of the best players in the world out there consistently, but
this is not me saying that I don't want the best for Anthony Davis. This is me just looking at what I see. And what I see just isn't good. I mean, if I'm a Lakers fan, if I'm a Lakers organization, or if I'm a coach looking at who can I count on to play,
it ain't AD. I agree with that statement.
I mean, and so no matter how talented,
the best ability,
no matter how talented it is, like okay, like yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. I think he's outside of his prime now. If you have to monitor him the way you would monitor aging Tim Duncan in terms of minutes restrictions, which they have to start trying to think about in terms of
that's a great point.
In terms of the style of play in which he's leaning into.
I can't unleash him onto the court because I'll have to worry about whether he's going to finish the game.
The problem with that is, and this is a point I brought up about LeBron a couple weeks ago, is the problem with that is the Lakers aren't in a position that they can dial back. They can't put guys on minutes restrictions because they're still trying to get into the playoffs.
No, for sure.
That's a Lakers issue.
That's a front office issue.
Not an AD specifically.
We're just looking at
now.
AD specifically, and we're just saying AD as a player on any mob.
So you're saying AD should be like, yeah, I'm not playing more than 30 minutes.
No, I don't think. I think there's a risk when he does go over. You know what I mean? When he's bearing the brunt of an offense or of a team over a certain amount of minutes, like it's getting to a point where I would be scared for AD to average 30 minutes a game in the season. That's wild for me to state
at 28.
That. He's not 30. I want to say like
28.
You're supposed to be touching nearly 40 minutes a game. Realistically, like how we saw a lot of superstars carry teams. So the fact that we're wondering if we can play you 30,
I feel you.
that's a real cause for alarm. But like I said, like I can agree that some of this stuff seems a little freakish in terms of the health, but it is consistently freakish, which causes everybody to worry.
And which is causes everyone to worry, but also causes people to think about, oh, is Anthony Davis actually taking his own health into is he prioritizing his health the way other superstars prioritize their health? Or
I don't
even
think
a guy
nobody's gonna
like
take it that far, though.
Or even a guy like LeBron. And I know that I can't challenge that because I'm not in the room, the training rooms. I'm not around him. You can't challenge those type of things. If you're on the outside looking in, the only people that can actually question those things
Other people around.
Other
are the
people
people
around
in the
him,
locker
yeah.
room. And so when I look at LeBron James' face, when he goes down for another time, even if it's freakish or not, he's like, fam, like, why are your ankles so weak? Like, or why is there always something with you?
I mean, once
Like,
again,
and I don't know, like, and maybe I'm reading too much into that moment. That's very well a thing. I have a tendency to do that because I definitely
we all do.
I definitely
Yeah, I was gonna
monitor
say.
people's faces.
I mean, it's a big
when
thing,
when I
though.
watch basketball. I monitor people's.
We can't hear their words, so yeah.
Right.
So it's so weird, like, because I mean, like I said, I see kids like this all the time who like always end up hurt, always end up on the floor, and like you can always pinpoint things like, and it's normally in their game, like, dude, you lean won't.
Yeah,
you
you're not
lean-
coordinated
you're not
enough.
coordinated, or you don't have enough core strength, so when you get hit in the air, you always fall. Your balance is off. Whatever the case may be, you can always kind of pinpoint things.
Yes.
But a 28-year-old generational big,
But even, and like I said, I think that goes even with NBA players. Like, you can point to things in their game. Like, real talk, nobody wants to have the discussion. But Derrick Rose, like, people kind of pointed at
the way he jumped and
like
the way he landed.
jumped, the way he landed. It was like, yo, that's
You
not
can't
a
do that.
sustained thing. You can't
Kyrie,
do that
I was like,
for a
yo,
long
your
time.
knee snapping on the ground every time you cross over the ball, that's an issue.
Like, so these are things that people point out. Now, once again, going to your point, does anybody around AD tell him these things? Does anybody around AD say, hey, man, like, maybe we should change the way you jump. Maybe we should change the way you kind of finish around the basket. Maybe you need to get more core strength. Maybe you need to work on your ankles. Like, that goes to the training staff. That goes to whoever his personal trainers are. That goes to AD himself recognizing these things.
Yeah,
But
fair.
on some token, like, the injury he got, like, somebody literally fell
Fell.
and dove into his knee. That ain't training. That ain't your game. That's just being in the wrong place at the wrong time. And unfortunately for AD, a guy, this is always the thing you got to remember about players like AD, and I always say like bigs in general who played that style around the basket.
Yeah.
They're always in the air, they're always landing, and they're always in a high condensed zone. That is a culmination of things that can go wrong so easily. You're a 6'10" dude jumping 3 feet off the ground around a bunch of other 6'8", 6'9" bodies all jumping 3 feet off the ground.
Yeah.
Odds are at some point you're going to come down on somebody's foot. Somebody's going to fall into you the wrong way. Like I always say, LeBron's biggest thing is the fact that he's never really had a serious injury. It amazes me because the way he plays and the style he plays, it's amazing that he's never really sustained something serious.
And that's why I'm not quick to compare him to LeBron.
Yeah.
That's why I said superstars in general, because there have been other superstars that we've compared Anthony Davis to, where it's like, dang, did he have these many injuries? And I would have to go back and like actually think about it. Like, I don't think Tim Duncan had those kind of moments.
Tim Duncan was a different type of player.
He was a different type of player. But if this is the player that Anthony Davis also tends to try to be, he wants to take more jump shots. He wants to stay. He wants to be on the perimeter more often than not. Like, if this is the player he wants to be, then he kind of has to build himself into a guy who can withstand a certain level of pounding when you on the defensive level.
But this isn't pounding. That's the thing, though. Like, these injuries aren't poundings. These injuries are
some of them
falling,
aren't, some
jumping.
of them are, and then some of them aren't. And I think that's I don't know, B. Like, that's why I'm not quick to say like he's not doing everything in his
He
power.
just has a long history.
Now, that's true.
And so while we can say this specific one and we can look at it like, oh, this happened this way, it's like, okay, what about the last one or the one before that or the one
feel
before
you.
that or the one before that or the one before that
Right.
one? It's like when you start racking them up, it's
You don't even.
I really
You're not
wanna
even
pull
reading the
his injury.
particulars.
yeah,
anymore.
it's like I don't
really
even
just
know
wanna pull
how
his
you got
history
hurt
now.
Yeah,
necessarily.
yeah.
It's
You're
just
not
like,
even reading
oh,
the
you're hurt
particulars.
again. That's how people start reacting to it.
And that's the thing. And for me, because I'm like, at this point, they're just DMPs. You're not here. You street clothes.
For a while.
And if I can't play you, no matter how talented you are, then what value do I'm broke? What value do you provide the mob, the team?
Your money all frozen in an account.
And
They
I think
holding the check,
that's
Greg.
the
They
fear.
holding the check.
And that's the fear in terms of what I see for Anthony Davis, because I don't. When he got into the league, we saw this guy. We was like, man, this could be the greatest big of all time. And slowly and surely, I'm leaning towards that's not gonna be the case.
I mean, he should be in the NBA All 75. Like, let's.
Can I read off this injury history?
Oh, you were reading an injury list?
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
looking
you were
at it.
scrolling.
So I'm literally starting from his rookie year. I'm not gonna name like the length and everything. I just want like to point out like the various injuries.
Okay.
Concussion.
Yep.
Stress fracture, left ankle, sprained left shoulder, left MCL sprain, fractured left hand, back spasm, sprained toe, sprained shoulder, sprained ankle, bruised hip, back injury, knee shoulder, strained groin, finger sprain, contusion. Calf Achilles injury last year, and then this year we're up to like foot sprain and MCL injuries. Like
His injury
too.
history is longer than his accolades.
You heard his wrist
but
this
like
year too. I think he sat out a couple games.
to your point, like the only ones you can sit up here and say like came as a result of like pounding would be like the shoulder sprains and then like the back spasms, and those were both like early in his career. Everything else after that has been it's been leg issues. I mean, finger sprain, like. Everything else has just been leg issues at this point.
Hey, Greg, can you insert my leg?
My leg.
I would appreciate that.
I mean, the last thing about AD that I would counter on would be
But I get you.
perhaps if he changed his game a little bit more to maybe adjust to a different style of play earlier on. Like we said, he kind of avoided the physical contact, didn't want to play the 5.
Yeah.
Perhaps you wouldn't need to rely on as much the athletics and jumping through the air and et cetera, et cetera. Now, that's just an idea, and I'm not blaming his style of play on his injury, but I understood where, like, Greg had mentioned just to, like, the pounding in terms of, at least that's how I interpreted it.
No, I think
you're right.
I think that's a very good point. I think that's a whole different topic we could have because one thing that gets lost a lot of times when we talk about basketball now, because people, like I said, we all know the old heads who love to talk about, well, in our day, we played all 82 games and Converse and da-da-da-da-da, and whatever the case may be. Like, and we didn't have the private planes and all that. But the thing that always gets lost is players today, they run more, they jump more, they jump higher.
They train
they're
more,
explosive.
they train harder.
Or more explosive. Like, I don't care, old heads. Y'all can sit here and talk about your game all y'all want to. I went back and watched those games. Half of y'all barely moved for half the possessions. Y'all sat in one spot. Y'all watched the big man dribble 5 times and shoot an ugly jump hook, and then you ran back on defense and watched the other team do the same thing. There wasn't a lot of movement. The pick and roll wasn't as big a deal. The court was not as spread, so you had to cover as much ground. Like, these are little things that add up. Going to your point about Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan didn't have to do what AD did. He didn't have to go out, guard a point guard, then drop back, cover the rim in a drop coverage. Like, he didn't do those things. He stayed near the basket. He was one of the greatest rim protectors of all time. Stayed near the basket, hands up, verticality. Every now and then he'll bang with a big when he had to. Had David Robinson to do that for the first part of his career, if we're going to keep it a stack. Like, it's little things that just add up over time. And that's why I say, like, with AD, like, he's a 6'11 dude jumping 3 feet off the ground every other play. Like, that just adds up over time.
Over time, especially because
it sucks because he should be able to do it because you see others do it. But in his case, maybe his body just can't handle it.
I mean, it
And
happens
if
that
that,
way.
and once again, going back to the very, what you gonna say? I'm sorry.
I was just about to say it happens that way, and when you add the amount of games that this newer generation actually plays in A&U terms, all the
Facts.
traveling, like this is the stuff that the people from the
Right.
80s and 70s weren't necessarily dealing with. These players have been playing essentially like pros since 14.
They play in 60, 70 games a year.
Yeah, they've been playing like pros and training on a pro-ish level if you're high end enough as a teenager since you're like 14.
Yep.
So from 14 to 28, AD's level of training has only intensed.
Right.
So, like,
Facts.
I understand how, like, these injuries are somewhat just waiting to happen. It's like, bro, you're adding this on for 10, 15 years. Eventually, like, something's going to give, something's going to go.
And that leads to why I say his prime has passed.
I respect it.
Because
It might have started earlier than what we thought.
it accelerated.
Yeah,
It
fair.
accelerated.
So your
His
point
clock accelerated.
you're saying his prime was 2 years ago in that bubble.
I think we saw it.
Got it, yet?
I think we saw it.
Fair enough. I can't
And that doesn't mean-
argue that yet.
And that doesn't
I gotta
mean
see it.
Yeah, can't
No,
argue that.
right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And I once again, if
gotta
I'm
see how
wrong,
this
that's
plays
cool. I don't mind being wrong about this because I'm not rooting against AD. Like
Yeah, facts.
for anyone who's listening to this,
We
I'm
all
not
hoping
rooting against a guy who plays the game at a high level.
Yep.
Leaves it on the court for the most part. Like I really don't have much to say against AD as a ball player outside of the fact that when he runs into Giannis, it gets scary hours. I mean, but that's Giannis. I mean, look who the guys he's battling against. So I really don't have any hate to him. I just don't think he's there anymore. And all the reasons that y'all named play a factor. So
Yeah.
So how many games before LeBron James kind of just dips out on Russ? Like just says, "Hey, it's been a good season, bro. I'm gonna go drink some wine on the bench."
I don't know.
17.
17 more games.
Yeah, 17.
Fair. Okay. I was gonna say right around they get about 8 games under 500. That's what
See,
he'll call it. That's
Oh,
what
so
he'll
you
call
expect them to take what? A losing streak coming up early?
it. Have you seen their schedule?
It's the toughest.
It's like the toughest
It's
after
the
All-Star
toughest
break.
After
Yeah.
All-Star break for sure. I think they got 2 more games in. They got 2 games in February. They got the Clippers, and they got.
I got you. I'm gonna beat you to it.
You gonna beat me to it? You always do, stat man.
So coming up, the Lakers have got the Clippers coming out of the All-Star break. Then we
Yep.
got the Pelicans, the Mavs, the Clippers again, the Warriors, the Spurs. Finally get a break with Houston, the Wizards. Then we get Phoenix, Toronto, Minnesota, Toronto again, the Wizards. Then we get Cleveland, Philly, New Orleans fighting for their playoff life, Dallas, Utah, New Orleans, Denver, Phoenix, Golden State.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long.
That's their next 20-ish games.
A long.
17 games. I told you.
I think right around when they get about 8-9 games under
That's
500.
probably gonna be the same
Probably
time.
around the
Honestly,
same time length.
They gonna go on a mean losing streak.
Like,
Yeah, I'm like they gonna get 17 games in. Bron is probably gonna have like Phoenix up next, and he's just like, nope.
'cause like
Last time D-Book smelled blood in the water, and D-Book has been having a fantastic year. I wouldn't be surprised if he gave 47 on the Lakers again, and then Bron just like, nah. Yeah, 17 games.
All right. Another guy we have some big concerns about, and I told you he wasn't playing this season, dog. I told you. Zion Williamson could need second surgery on foot. According to Christian Clark from NOLA.com, NOLA.com, Williamson was supposed to return to practice in December, but he began experiencing soreness in his right foot. That month, he flew to Los Angeles to have an injection to promote healing, and it's possible he would need a second surgery on his right foot after receiving more pain in that foot. But nothing's been decided.
As soon as I can, I trade him for whatever I can get. I don't know how many games this man is gonna play in his career, and I don't want to say that like casually, but from college, we worried about his size, weight, explosiveness, his body being able to handle the day-to-day grind of basketball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just isn't me being overly harsh when I say that. Generally, I'm all for trying to figure out a player's potential. Mm-hmm. Bro, I'm really wondering how many games that, like, if I invested it into you as a GM, would you be able to even give me back? Like, this is supposed to be, what, his 3rd year in the league?
yeah.
Man, like, I'm with the success of like having a rising star or a former all-star like Brandon Ingram, being able to pull somebody like CJ McCollum, even if you'd be able to flip him, even though he's, plus 30, I get it. But Zion, I just don't know how long I got to wait for you before all the other pieces I do have become like, null and void in terms of maybe I held CJ too long and I can't flip him anymore.
Right.
Maybe B.I. walks on me while I'm trying to figure out, or I trade him and I can't get the value that I would have had for him back. Zion is no longer the centerpiece of my universe if I'm New Orleans anymore. And it sucks to say. I hope the best for his recovery, and when he does recover, let's hope that I'm just super duper wrong, and everybody could be like, "Oh, you're an idiot." But at this point, I couldn't even be mad if like the off season came and if New Orleans were able to pull together a deal, a decent one, they did. But then again, I don't know who would or what that deal would look like.
Yeah, I think they're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place because not only do you have the injury just looming over whatever deal you want to make, he's still on a rookie contract. Like, you can't get
much back.
So much back for him, period, unless you're just trying to get a bundle of draft picks, which in that case, if I'm Brandon Ingram, then yeah, I'm bouncing. Like, you're resetting again. Like, so I think they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. I don't really know what you do. I mean, you can field offers, you can listen to the offers, but I don't.
You cross your fingers and hope he just comes back and we're all wrong.
Exactly.
But realistically, none of us feel that way. That's why I didn't take that route.
So, I mean, I don't know. I honestly don't know what to make of this. Like I said, I've been on record saying like I didn't really want to talk about Zion until he can stay on the court, and that's kind of where I'm at still. Like, to me, he's always been like this big glob of potential of what could be. But to me, I never thought
calling a man a glob.
Glob of potential.
Go ahead.
I just saw like clumpy Play-Doh, and
and
it just started shining off.
But like I said, I thought the idea of him would always be better than what would actually be able to produce on the court.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we're at now. I may be wrong.
No, I think that's fair. I think I agree.
I may be wrong in the future. He may prove me wrong, and hey, I'll be all here for it because it'll be amazing to watch. But up until this point, like, this is a dude who literally just teased pretty much everyone with this potential of what could be, but has nothing to really show for it, unfortunately. And that sucks for him. That sucks for the organization.
Yeah, that sucks for basketball in general.
Facts.
Like, we're talking about a number one pick. We're talking about
like
somebody who was supposed to be a generational player.
Hey, yo, when he was on the court last year, even I had to sit back and be like, yo, he's, whew, like, boy's different. Like, there was nothing nobody could really do with him around the rim, period. But going back to AD, availability is the best ability. So here we are again.
Yep. He ain't playing this season, dog.
Nah, he's
not playing this season.
Morals of the story.
And you don't, like I said, you don't wish this on guys like this or any guy that makes it this far. Because, you know, like we already talked about, they put together the time to get to this space. But we all recognize the athlete he was, and going to D Rose, how dangerously athletic he was. The man blew out his own shoe. Like, the shoe exploded because he tried to cut.
Yeah, that's the wild part. It wasn't even off the land or nothing like that. It wasn't 300 pounds coming down. It was 300 pounds trying to stop. Like, just blew out the side of his shoe.
Like, that's insane. So you don't want to see these conversations be had.
I mean, you don't want to have these conversations, but
you definitely don't want to have these conversations. But the Pelicans, like y'all mentioned, and I agree wholeheartedly, are in a tough spot, and it is time to panic because you put your eggs in a basket that may have been worthy of it.
It was worthy of it, to be honest.
No, they had to.
But then at the same time, it also sucks to watch the second overall pick essentially
become a franchise.
I
told you I would have picked them first. Great.
We both said it.
I was like, I like Ja, bro. I was like, I get why you draft Zion if you're New Orleans. Realistically, basketball wise, I would have picked Ja. Manny had said it too.
That for sure. And I was like, this is a no-brainer if he was 6'5".
If he was 6'5", he was number 0 pick.
My fault. I personally didn't think that mattered. It's a point guard league now. You need a point guard. But I also sat here and said, I get no GM could have turned down Zion.
Yeah, that's what I said. You're going to lose your job.
Like, you literally couldn't.
Before Ja Morant even got an All-Star, you probably would have lost your job.
So I got why New Orleans took him. And at the time, you traded AD, you got Ingram back. It seemed like you were moving in the positive direction.
Yeah.
So it just sucks that this is the way it has so far played out. But I would have risked my job. I'm going to sit here and say.
I would have got fired.
I would have risked my
On the
job
spot.
and took Ja Morant. And then if they did fire me, and once Ja blew up, I would have been on every media station
I
going,
told you so.
Give me my royalties.
give me my
Royalties?
I need one or two things. I either need royalties
from a draft pick.
I need royalties, or I need a new GM job. I need to be the first phone call.
Now you do.
For every team after.
No,
that.
realistically.
Like, what's there to discuss? I made the right choice, and they didn't recognize it.
Facts.
Ja Morant's first, or like after like he wins like Rookie of the Year, should have been unanimous. After he wins, should have been unanimous Rookie of the Year. Yeah, you're first up. You draft Ja Morant that year, you're first up.
So, but yeah. So yeah, it does really suck that this is how it's played out for New Orleans, who really got put into that tough situation by AD to begin with. So
Shout out Clutch. What you mean?
Yep.
Got put
Good
in there
old-
by AD. No, he didn't.
Good old Clutch.
Yeah, like
That was Braun and them.
And them.
Rich Paul.
And
baby.
them. Yeah, what you're talking about? NBA Disney.
NBA Disney. But yeah, I agree with y'all. I think they had no choice, but watching what Ja's becoming is like that has to hurt if you're in New Orleans. That has to hurt a little
It's
bit.
sick.
Yeah.
And maybe the fans they don't necessarily. I think the fans
Fans
see-
sick. What do you mean? They have to be sick.
I don't think the fans are sick. I think the fans are looking at it from the lens
Hey,
of like,
actually,
New
pause.
Orleans
No,
fans
I was
don't
just
care
in New
about
Orleans, so I'm gonna actually tell you the fans are sick. I was literally just in New Orleans, like,
all right, you got
and
it.
I'm in New Orleans. I'm like, yo, Phoenix comes to play. Was it Phoenix or was it? I think it was the Warriors are coming to play. When I was there, coming to play the Pelicans.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, Chickens Mad Team, I might get there. The city was telling me, yo, don't go to the game. Like, tickets aren't worth the spit to even the spit that you might get out your car when you're smoking. Like, it was wild. It was
What?
They were mad disrespectful on their own team. Like, yeah, like it's yeah. They think they're cheeks. They are not. I don't want you to think that New Orleans is just like, hey man, when everything gets back good. No, they do not. Like,
not
Whoa,
rocking with it.
yeah,
that.
they're not. Yeah, I was down there, bro. Yeah, Superdome was not lit. It's not lit, bro.
Wow.
That's
That's
unfortunate. That's unfortunate, but I get it, and I'm glad.
Yeah, tickets
Thank you. I
tickets
appreciate
are
that.
based off of who's coming into town every time.
That's real.
You know, when you're a good team, it's like, okay,
Tickets
of
always
course.
Right.
Yeah, but when you're a trash team,
It's like, oh, you might see LeBron tonight. $300 ticket.
no. You're still watching the Pelicans. It's still a home
Said
game.
never that.
Yeah. What? 300? No.
bro. That's awful.
No, I could be near the floor for like 175.
And
Max.
but that's
Day of.
But that's the case of what we're seeing. And that's the case of what we're seeing in terms of what Ja's becoming. And even now we're starting to see the same thing in terms of what RJ is becoming in New York. Like his ascension is a little slower, but we're also seeing a guy that's
He's gotten better.
he's
Like,
starting to figure it out.
yeah.
To a place where I think the Knicks are looking at him like, you know what? Could we hand this guy the keys? I mean, it's not out of realm of possibility yet for us.
What else well, the options they got, really.
That's true.
But RJ is good enough to wonder that, though. Well, he's becoming good enough to wonder that.
Yeah, and so, yeah. Shout out to this dude, man.
Yeah, Ja.
That was a problem.
Yeah. I think I watched more Grizzlies games this year, other than like Laker games, than anybody else.
I've watched more Grizzlies basketball and Cleveland basketball than I've ever watched my entire life.
Nah,
And-
not Cleveland basketball.
My entire
You
life.
weren't watching Braun like that on Cleveland.
I'm trying to tell you, I watched those games, but I didn't watch those games. Like, I'm gonna be honest. When you watching LeBron, you kind of
yeah,
you know what you're getting.
I feel you.
You know what you get.
It's like cruise control.
right, like ISO, pick and roll, dunk, block, dunk, block, kick out, crazy pass. Like it's special. It's never a bad meal.
But it's Braun.
But it's Braun. Like I'm here for that.
Nah, this Grizzlies games
this
are
is like a
nice,
different
bro.
type
and it's
of-
Cleveland. Yeah, Cleveland is new.
Cleveland is a whole new flavor of something. Like, you know what? I don't mind.
It's good basketball.
Sitting down and watching this.
It's good basketball.
You know, and I
It's
think
fun
that
to watch.
and so those two teams, and they were on my midseason review of this team. I'm glad they exist.
Oh, facts.
They're just fun. But we can move on. We can move on because we got big stuff here, man. We got big stuff here. All right, so last week we talked about James Harden getting his wish. To go to Philly, he also came out. I think in his first presser, he said that
This is where I
this is where he
always
always
wanted to be.
This was this was his first option. Now we're starting to understand a little bit more, thanks to Jake Fisher of Bleacher Report, in terms of Durant granting James Harden his wish. It wasn't a thing until Kevin Durant said you can send him, and they have always been issues to the point where the locker room was pretty miserable with the two of them because they were in some sort of what Jake Fisher called a cold war for like the last several months. He added saying, and I'm reading this word for word, Durant and Steve Nash wanted a free-flowing offense, which Mike D'Antoni helped install last season, but Harden preferred his patented ISO ball. Brooklyn coaches noticed Harden would roll his eyes when an after-timeout play was designed for Harden.
You mean KD?
For Durant, thank you. Then, multiple times this season, Harden would leave the Nets between game days to return to
Yes,
Houston.
sir. His jersey in the Raptors in Houston. You can go on game days. You can get one.
The trade, quote, felt inevitable after he showed little effort in his last contest, which we all brought up last episode.
He's lit. I didn't know he was going to Houston on day off.
This
to club
is
it up.
wild,
Yo, that's
bro.
wild. I love it, bro.
This is wild. And you know what?
I love that last statement. The other stuff is wild, but that last statement is great.
What, him going to Houston?
Oh, yo, your day off? Shout out to you. I mean, it's wild, but like, that's hilarious.
What are y'all thoughts? I'm gonna let y'all get y'all thoughts off. I'm not even gonna.
Harden
I'm not even gonna throw up a
Harden
question.
better win one soon, boy. Oh my! Because the wild part is a lot of people. We figured more of the conversation was gonna surround
Kyrie.
the more open-ended dislike between Kyrie and Harden.
Right.
All the reports were most of the reports were KD Harden. So I'm like, yo, Harden don't come in out of shape. Mm-hmm. Kevin Durant and that offense, which you dislike, carried y'all to the first seed while KD was healthy.
Facts.
It was just Harden. You better go if you really want to go play your own way, a way that we all in the past said doubt was gonna win a championship.
Yeah.
Bro, go for it. Like I can't say anything else other than I just strongly disagree with the things that are coming out. If that is the reason why Harden was unhappy, like Philly being your number one option, whether that's true or not. I don't really care. Like, that's something you're supposed to say when you get to Philly anyway. But
Not necessarily.
maybe Philly fans happy.
He didn't have to phrase it.
He didn't
that
have to
way.
phrase it like that. I'm happy to be here, glad to be here.
Like, this is always a
Yeah.
place I could
Imagine
come to.
myself being. I understand what you mean. He did it in a
But
real
he didn't have
petty
to say
way.
it was absolutely
Yeah.
my first choice. Like, that was definitely
But this
a
is
shot.
the same man we
Yeah.
saw how he left Houston. Like, and granted, Houston was in flames, and we kind of blamed it
I mean,
halfway on Houston.
He's the one that lit the fire, so.
That's my point. At a certain point, I'm like, Harden, you gonna look real crazy if you retire without one now.
I sat here yesterday.
Like,
or not yesterday.
yeah, last week. I called Greg over the weekend. It was a 2-part thing.
Yeah.
It was a 2-part. Brian's right, Brian's wrong.
No, it was. In
It
real life,
really-
it was.
legit.
It was.
But the Brian right part was me being mad at Harden because more reports. I think this report had came out and I called you, and I was just like, man, like Harden has literally been spoon fed like since he left OKC. And mind you, when he was with OKC, he was still part of an up and coming young super mob that could have, you got to Houston, got everything you wanted, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We went through this last week. Bro, just win. Like, I don't want to hear nothing. Like, there were reports saying that he wanted to be somewhere where he felt like people wanted to win. And I was just like, I get that might have been the Kyrie shot for him not being able to play with the vaccine and everything. But I was just like, that's real funny coming from the one person on that trio without a chip. Like, the one person who, the last time he was in the finals, the other man got you there.
I ain't gonna say got him there, but he definitely played better in that finals. No, James Harden showed up in that playoff run.
So? No, realistically, it's no disrespect for James Harden. KD literally led that finals in points scored. Like, that was KD's mob. This is what I mean.
I'm not talking about the final. I'm talking about like in the
Like,
I remember
okay,
James Harden
Harden didn't get
specifically
backpacked like he
closing-
didn't do anything.
Okay,
But like,
that's all
yeah,
I'm saying.
but I meant like
That's all I'm
literally
saying.
you weren't gonna sniff it without the man that you're now saying
Very true.
or
Very true.
implying.
Very true.
You know what I mean? So it's like this is the guy that you're breaking away from again. the first time made sense, though. Go get your bag. I'm never going to disrespect him for leaving OKC. But, like, this one was just, you just have to win to validate this. This is the only way it's going to happen, or you're just going to look like a spoiled little crybaby. And I don't want to take it that far to, like, insult him like that. But realistically, it's, bro, what else do you want? ISO ball, I guess. Yeah, you did say that. But still. But still, is that worth it? Like, you really just have to, he going to have to win. Like,
I'm gonna let you go, B. Go ahead.
No, I want to ask the other question because
Okay.
it was a two-part question. Where was I wrong?
Sabonis, bro. Nah, bro. I'm keeping Tyrese Halliburton. I don't care.
Okay, fair enough. I'm not going to
It kept making sense, like, when you kept trying to tell him. And I was trying to tell Greg, I was like, man, I get it. Like, they got an all-star bag. No disrespect to Sabonis, but nah, man, I
I
don't
look back
care.
because he's hooped out these last couple
I was like,
games.
Tyrese Halliburton is
I
the
look
hoop.
back.
He
I look
called
bad.
me. He called.
He looked bad.
Tamon called me. He
looked
was
great
like,
these last couple games.
Tamon
I
called
was
me.
like,
He
I was watching
said,
the highlights.
he said, Greg, we let him off the hook, bro. We let him off the hook. We should have
We'll see.
doubled down. Because
Only time-
since he got there, bro, I think
Bro,
he's
he's
like
been hooping. He's
like
been after,
20,
like, yeah.
like 20 and 10. Like,
He's hooping.
so that was
But-
it. But go ahead. It's on you.
No, I found this whole thing like hilarious.
It's childish, but yeah, it is hilarious.
It's super childish. It's super hilarious, and it's hilarious on both accounts because on James Harden's side, we can go down. We've talked
Yeah.
about James Harden enough in this scenario. We get it, dude. You have to win.
Yeah.
No ifs and buts about it anymore.
Yep.
You got what you wanted. Show up or show out. With KD, it's hilarious because it's like, dude, you're literally mad at James Harden for doing what you did in Golden State. Like, it's really what you're mad about. Golden State wanted free. Golden State's whole system is free ball movement, player movement. Nobody dominates rock. And KD was like, nah, I should have the ball in my hands more. I should be ISOing more. Y'all should let me do me. Like, and we know this. This has come out from multiple people in that locker room. Like, you can pull up the videos, KD doing certain things, showing he's upset with the offense. Like, it's just interesting to see the shoe be on the other foot.
I can say it's interesting. It ain't the
So,
same, of course, but it's
It's
interesting.
not
I see.
not the exact
yeah.
same, but like it's just interesting to see the shoe on the other foot and to see KD not be able to. And granted, totally James Harden and KD are two totally different personalities, no doubt. But it's so interesting seeing like KD have to deal with this drama that he's created and kind of not being able to in an extent. Like he couldn't fix it. It was just like, all right, Harden, I gotta let you go, bro.
KD ain't the type to fix it like that though. He's not. I don't think he's the type to like
But that's the thing.
coddle you or like pat you on the back and like.
But and just to bring it full circle, like, and I think that also goes to showing like how unique and different certain players are.
Fair.
LeBron, Duncan, Steph, Kobe to an extent.
Yeah.
Like, we're just gonna make it work.
Yeah.
Somehow,
You gotta make it
some
work.
way. Like, if Steph, I got sacrifice touches. All right, cool. I don't care what nobody says. Kevin Durant joining Steph Curry robbed us of at least 3 to 4 Steph scoring titles. I don't
Fair.
care. The year before scoring champ, year
Fair,
after
fair,
scoring champ.
yeah, fair.
I don't care. I will go down with that opinion forever. Don't care.
That's not a bad opinion.
So, like I said, Steph Curry's taking a step back, granted a small step, but still a step
Step
back
back.
to implement Kevin Durant. Kobe Bryant went from being a 35-point scorer. Oh, now I have Pau Gasol. Let me dial it back. Let me fit him into the offense. Like LeBron James, granted, I've always said LeBron forces players to adapt to him more than the other way around.
Yeah.
But LeBron will always, unless there's no other option, will try to make it work with almost everybody in his locker room. Try. It's rare he gets to a point.
It's a Jedi mind trick.
True. It's very media spun. Don't get me wrong.
He's like,
he'll
I'm gonna
spin
try
that.
to get it to work your way, but really we're just trying to get you to work my way on the back end.
Facts. But like he'll still like just try to mediate the locker room. Like I said, it's very rare players will be like, I'm upset with playing with LeBron James and his style. The ones that do are normally the ones who get packed up and they leave. Like it's really that simple. And it's normally not stars. Kyrie always felt like that was more of a personality clash.
Yeah.
Kyrie didn't like being in LeBron's shadow. It
He
wasn't
didn't-
the
he don't
style
like-
of play.
Feeling like a son. Like
Exactly.
the media was trying to make it seem like
Like you're his little brother or little son or however you want to phrase it. That's what Kyrie had a problem. I don't think he had a problem with the play style necessarily. So with just KD, it's interesting to see this whole thing play out. And I'm gonna be honest, I think both of them need to win to validate kind of their opinions, essentially. Like,
Fair.
Harden needs to win to validate, I'm one of these greatest shooting guards. My style works. My ISO ball works. Kevin Durant needs to win to validate the idea of like, no, I can be the lead. Because you will never convince me he was the leader in Golden State. You can't convince me of that.
I don't think he was the leader in Golden State either.
No, most people.
He was
don't,
the best player on the team, but he wasn't the leader.
But he wasn't the leader. And I've had this conversation about Kawhi. Like, there's a difference between
Kawhi wasn't a leader with the Raptors.
And I always said that. There's a difference between
Like, that was Kyle.
There's a difference between being the best player and actually having to be the leader and best player. There's a different level of responsibility there. KD is dealing with this now. You have to be the guy
and the best
all day, every day. You have to mediate the locker room.
He's done it once before, but just never on that
But he didn't win.
championship
But he
pressure
didn't
level
win.
consistently. Yeah,
Exactly. He didn't win. So this is it. You have to do it. Both of y'all have to win to validate your opinions about who y'all are. Period.
on different levels.
On different levels, no
On
doubt.
different
Kevin
levels.
Durant has proven definitely that he's far above James Harden. Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong
but
with
Kevin,
that.
I would like to see like if I think you're right in terms of like an ego or an alpha or just like a this stand on my principle thing.
Yeah.
Let's win on this, but James needs a win, like
Oh,
period.
he needs to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, period.
That's like validating you and your basketball decisions through and through, like
Like-
career. Now, granted, Hall of Famer,
Yeah.
like
Well,
NBA top
absolutely.
75. Not disrespect him
Absolutely.
on that, but oh man, you made a lot of iffy decisions and choices throughout your career.
I'm gonna let you. It's on you, cuz.
Seeing how all this shook out, I'm not gonna yell.
These are your boys.
I did all the
These
yelling.
are
your
honestly
boys.
your
I did
boys.
all the yelling I could do.
These
These
are
are your
your
guys.
boys.
yo.
I did all the yelling I could do last
From the
week.
get go.
But seeing how all this shook out, I came to one conclusion. I don't need a 30 for 30 anymore. I don't need a 30 for 30 because
It really would be a 30 though, because they only were together.
I don't need to see
The
what
three
if.
best friends that nobody ever got to stick around.
I don't need a what if anymore.
They all
because
2/3 their way to try to get a ring with each other. Have y'all noticed? if Russ and Katie end up back on the same team, I'm done with the
Yo.
NBA.
I don't need the what ifs anymore because while I would like to believe that if they stuck together they would have won a ring, this shows me
It would
that
have been something.
it would have been something.
Somebody said that.
It would have been something.
It was something early. Somebody had to get paid.
That
And
but even if
they won't pay
I'm
them.
just talking about Brooklyn because I remember I sat here specifically last season. I was just like, something's gonna go wrong. I don't know what it is.
Oh, you talking about?
It's something's just gonna go wrong.
No, I'm talking about
I thought you were talking about earlier on throughout if like they stayed together from
I'm talking
OKC.
about Russ,
I feel you.
Harden,
Yeah, Harden, yeah,
something
Durant.
went wrong.
something would have went
I
wrong
got
with this
you.
mob.
Before the chip. Yeah, that's when we want like when we say something would have went wrong, we get it. Something went wrong with Shaq and Kobe, but after 3.
Right.
But this is we're talking about
No
before
chips.
the chips. Yeah.
No chips. No chips for those three as a unit.
Nah. Individuals,
Because-
only one of them got one. That's sick. That's so
And-
sick.
And it's all because I think all three of them have this weird thing where they're kind of
Like stubborn.
it's
they're
stubborn.
Like you talking about their play styles?
It's stubbornness, but it's also this thought process of it's also I don't even let's just go with stubbornness because I'm thinking too deep. Let's go with the word stubbornness. Let's use that. They're too stubborn to get out their own way of how talented they are. I think Russell Westbrook's talent as a basketball player could have grown in a space around Harden and Durant, but he also was coddled to an extent where he's just super athletic guy. He's the rogue one. You gonna let him dunk, gonna do his own thing.
Brody.
We love him. We love him for the things that we actually don't love.
You know,
Like-
it's weird because every time we talk about Russ, it's like, hey, that's my man's.
That's my guy. We love him, but we love
But,
him
you know-
for the things that really kind of like
He
we
gonna
wish-
turn that joint over.
Like we wish you wouldn't do that part.
Those pull-up J's gotta stop.
The erratic play that we love Durant. We love Durant. He's all-time great scorer, one of the all-time great scorers ever to touch an NBA floor.
Big facts.
We love him, but we also understand like there's something in him that
You're the way you get poked by the media and outside people is real dangerous.
or the way sometimes we don't think he hasn't shown the ability to galvanize a team.
Oh yeah, to bring everybody together.
He hasn't been able to and now we're starting to see what Harden is. And maybe we saw it a couple years prior. But we're starting to see that Harden essentially.
I think we've been seeing that, bro. At least I called it.
But we're starting to see Harden essentially is this guy that's like, you know what? I want to win, but I just want to win my way. And you can't put three guys like that. That's why teams like Golden State. That's why Kobe and Shaq are so special. That's why Tim Duncan and the Spurs are so special. That's why I still don't look at a lot of these teams and think like they're all-time greats. And that's why I don't put that on. That's why we look at Phoenix and say they actually have a shot at winning the title. It's because people know their roles. People accept their space, and they elevate in those spaces. They don't look at restrictions in their game or restrictions in their roles as an indictment on who they are as a player.
Yep.
They look at the restrictions on their roles as players, and they elevate knowing that if I do this one thing very, very great, I'm getting a ring. I'm getting a ring. And that's one thing that I can't hate on the Boston Celtics about. That 08 Celtics mob understood that concept. For everything I hate about them, in terms of how they talk in the media, all the cash they spit out, I cannot hate the fact because whenever you hear them talk, one of the things they always point back to, KG did this, Paul did that, Ray did that, and Rondo did this.
And Kendrick did this.
No arguments
About that.
They understood the assignment.
They understood their assignment. A lot of these guys, they team up, but they team up before they have the conversation.
No, or they lie to each other when they have the conversation.
Yeah, I mean, it's like imagine going out to dinner with a shorty, right? You go out to dinner, you say, hey, let's try to make this something like really, really what it is. Let's try to make this something crazy. Like let's be together. Make it exclusive, me and you. But you've been promoting this thought process, Keith. You've been promoting this thought process that you are this kind of person.
That's what I do.
Shout out to Tyra. You've been promoting this thought process of who you are. But then the first weekend, 2 weeks in, you slowly, periodically revert into something that she ain't never seen before. Or that you ain't never seen out of her before. And then when you bring it to their attention, you look at them and they go, well, this is me. I didn't know.
This is what I do.
I didn't know this was you, dog.
You rolled the dice, and dice rolled you.
It wasn't supposed to be a dice roll.
Everything's a dice roll.
It wasn't supposed to be a dice roll. This is supposed to be quick. This is supposed to be simple. I hung out with you a little bit.
Facts.
You said this to me.
Yep.
You said that to me.
Uh-huh.
You acted like this in this way.
Yes.
I synced it.
I synced it.
I synced it.
You can do it.
I lied.
That's what I do.
Lied.
That's what I get from this, man. That's what I get from this. And so while we all look at it and say like these are the expectations, he said tricky. And that's why I look at this, and this is very interesting. And of course, the expectations are high on both of them. Like they have a lot to prove. And I don't like it when people say, I don't like when NBA stars say they don't have nothing to prove to the media, or they don't have nothing to prove to fans. That's false. That is not true. You, as a player, you are playing and you are being documented. Just like everyone else is being documented on their jobs, you are being documented. Facts. On yours. And we see it for what it is.
Seen it.
So you need to show up or don't, because whether you, if you don't, we're going to say something and we're going to deliberate on who we see and what we see on the court from you. It's that simple. And so I'm not going to let people get that take off anymore either. Like AD saying like, I ain't got nothing else to prove to the league.
You do.
Lies.
You made an NBA top 75 team. It's disgraceful. You got a lot to prove.
I don't want to hear KD say he ain't got nothing to prove. You still quiet as kept. The only person in the league right now that is set in stone for me is LeBron James. no one else in the league is set in stone. As if you're talking superstars, there's no other person in the league where I'm looking at. I'm saying that is a set in stone player. They have nothing left to prove to me. No one else. Even Steph Curry is on a pendulum in terms of like, is he the best point guard? Like the best point guard, or is he like teetering that 2-3 spot? I'm ready to debate the one.
I gave it to him like a year.
But is it a full on guarantee?
Tamon said I synced it.
Yeah, we had this argument 3 years ago.
That question is always interesting because it's a question of like, what do you mean by have to prove?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's things to gain, but having to prove something means that there's a negative hit if you don't achieve it. So,
I mean, the negative hits vary in terms of like, no, I'm not going to sit here and say that Steph Curry's overrated if he doesn't win another championship. But at the same time, I know like
prove that he's the number one of all time. If he does,
the needle still can move.
The needle still can't move. But there is a new basement floor. Like,
I mean, you can say if LeBron wins 2 more championships, the needle moves to officially the GOAT.
I mean, we just figured that he's not. I mean,
I've settled in on that. I'm kind of settled in on that.
LeBron might go to Cleveland.
I'm no hater.
Greg said he's no hater.
I'm no hater.
But hate.
Because we didn't say he's the GOAT.
But they can all hit us up on our Instagram, and I'll tell them what it.
They don't want that smoke. But yeah, this is. I want a Brooklyn Philly matchup now.
Oh, I need it.
Like I need.
I would double down on what I said like last week. I got Brooklyn beating Philly in a matchup.
I hope so. I hope it doesn't mess up my Milwaukee Philly series because
I see what you mean.
Because Embiid showed up in Milwaukee.
Yeah, he went to work.
And went to work. Mm-hmm. And Giannis can be all humble if he wants to. He ain't like that. My man had 34 in the third.
It happens though.
And he went to the locker room for a second. Like
he was hooping.
Like he came back out the locker room and continued
to go crazy. Though it's just one of those games where like I can't get but so mad because you're hooping. Like you're hooping. Like it wasn't.
I need that.
What were you gonna do against it? Anybody else had a game plan? We could have. Poke him in the eye.
What could we have done differently?
Poke him in the eye. That's it.
Nothing.
Hey, look, I don't know what you could have done differently, but Giannis is not. I don't consider Giannis a guy who would.
He's not gonna take that lightly. You're not gonna come into his crib and do that.
No, that matchup is gonna be insane.
I need that, bro.
To watch them two go at it, but I'm sorry, this Brooklyn Phillies matchup now is very intriguing.
That's needed.
It's very intriguing for a number of reasons.
That's the storyline. NBA make it happen. I know y'all be doing it.
I mean, right now Brooklyn's the 8th seed, so.
Yeah.
I do that. 42 on 21 shots.
I mean, he gets to the line 30 times a game, so.
Deservedly so.
Went to the line 14 times.
It's a lot.
He gets fouled a lot.
Yeah, he does.
He does. He's just big and strong, so like it doesn't look as bad.
They do be bailing him out sometimes, though.
He getting superstar calls.
Yeah, I'm gonna say first of all, he's a superstar.
I'm not mad at that.
He's a superstar though.
I'm not mad at that.
Calls.
Yeah.
42, 14, 5.
I'm so interested to see how James Harden fits into this dynamic, though.
I mean, I'm still interested to see how Ben Simmons fit in.
I mean, yeah, we got to see everything.
I mean, hey, if KD wants a free-flowing offense, man, just turn Ben Simmons into souped-up Draymond Green and keep this chain pushing. It ain't complicated. High screen and roll, 4-on-3. Ben Simmons going downhill. Kick to the shooters. You got Seth, Joe,
it's easier
Patty,
to implement
KD.
Ben, of course, I think.
You said what?
I think it's easier an actual fit to implement Ben into the Nets offense.
I totally agree.
Easily. So, now granted, Harden's a better player, but
Absolutely.
I don't know how this Harden be. I'm not gonna say they don't fit next to each other. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to ever imply that. But it's gonna be a headache some games, man.
It's going to be a lot of ISO ball out this joint.
Yeah. The person I'm concerned about the most out of the situation is Tyrese Maxey. Because I saw a stat. Someone said he shoots like 60% from corner threes. And I'm like, that stat's kind of convoluted because let's keep in mind, a lot of the shots he takes, he has the ball in his hands for the majority of the time.
He's one of their primary ball handlers.
He's not. he hasn't shown that he.
That stat was meant to try to push him into the corner.
Yeah,
when
it hasn't
Harden
shown
came.
that he's a guy you would just throw in the corner and say, just shoot the ball now.
But that's what that stat
Like,
was for. Hey, they can play together because he gets to go to the corner.
And
that's it.
I'm not rolling with that because that's not the kind of player that he has shown to be.
No, he's definitely
that's a waste.
Guard.
Yeah,
He
right.
wants the ball in his hands. He's gonna have to hit that corner 3 to play with James Harden.
He's gonna have to.
Like, I don't think that's gonna be a conversation.
Yeah,
like, they're not.
That's a given. Though.
It's Daryl Morey. Like, good luck, Doc Rivers. I don't care what conversation you want to have. James Harden is running this offense now. Deal with it. So yeah, Tyrese is gonna have to learn to hit that shot. Matisse Thybulle's gonna have to learn how to hit that shot. The only person that might really benefit from this is Tobias Harris. Like, pick and pop guy.
Yeah.
He'll be able to do a lot. He'll be able to knock down some shots, get some easier shots for himself.
I would say easier shots.
Yeah, like, cause right now he's their like number 2 creator.
Yeah.
His usage is about to drop low.
I mean, like, and that's true, but like his percentages might go up. Just
that's what I thought.
just
Easier
more
shots,
catch and shoot opportunities. But like I said, I'm interested to see how Embiid and Harden really vibe off of each other, because at the level Embiid is playing at, I'm not watching James Harden.
I was just playing. How many times is
dribble.
it going to take for Harden to look off Embiid before there's an actual problem?
And I think we all know Embiid ain't the type of person to keep his mouth shut about this either. So
No,
And I think that's actually a good thing too.
no,
And I think this might be one of the better situations where you come into, or I'm gonna say it's a necessary thing. I ain't gonna say it's a good thing. I think if it is going to work, James Harden needs to change a lot. And I think one of those things is how you're going to be able to receive that criticism from your other fellow players, especially because this is Embiid's team through and through. It's not like you just left Durant again and got your own mob.
Yeah.
I hope he doesn't think that's just what happened. Like, you're the certified number
hope
2.
not.
You're the certified number 2 on this team.
I hope not. I hope he
Hey,
knows that.
we gonna
But
find out.
that's what I'm trying to
we're
say.
gonna find
Yeah.
out because
That's going to be the issue.
because Joel. I mean,
You-
there's no
the
way.
man was rolling his eyes about KD.
Kevin
getting
Durant
plays.
getting calls out of the timeout.
I like Embiid a lot. He don't got KD cachet.
He don't. But if there's ever a season where I'm not hearing none of that, it's this one.
You did not come to my team
That's what,
mid-year.
I totally
Yeah.
agree. But once again, it's going into the mindset of James Harden. If you're upset,
If you're dismissing
about
KD,
getting plays called for him,
Yeah.
I don't care how good Embiid is playing at
It's going to
this
be
moment.
really hard to
That's interesting.
the younger
The
I'm gonna say
younger
younger
big.
star.
And don't have no MVP. Hasn't gone deeper in the playoffs than you.
But I didn't say anything wrong about the dynamic of that team. It's Embiid hands down than James Harden.
Absolutely, or it should be.
Or it should be. or it should
I'm
be.
trying to tell you, dog. If that becomes a thing, wow. That's a mess.
There's a crazy scenario here where Daryl Morey has traded for James Harden and James Harden runs Embiid out of town. There's a crazy scenario where that happens. There's an alternate universe, multiverse, Marvel shout out, where that happens.
There is. It's just not this
NBA
one.
Disney. Crazy.
It's not this one though.
I hope not.
Nah, it's not this one. I think Philly fans themselves would drag Harden out of town before they let Embiid leave over
That's
him.
fair. I
Like,
agree.
Would drag him out by his toes.
Like by the beard, bro. Like braided up and everything.
Burn
Like,
all his strip club jerseys.
most of them in Houston.
Them Johnson gold, bro.
Yeah, I'm about to say those was encased. Like
Oh man.
But we'll see, man. We'll see. This second half of the season is going to be really, really fun. It's a lot still happening that is out there in terms, and it's like we didn't talk about. Phoenix essentially being what they are. Chicago continuing to ball out.
Miami's still on.
Miami.
Just holding on to the 1 seed.
I mean,
just holding on to the 1 seed.
I mean, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green have yet to play a game together.
James Wiseman's supposed to come back early March.
There's so much out there. This season is
My 10-day post to
loaded.
start.
It's loaded.
Yeah, loaded.
10 day? Wait, who signed?
You know what I'm saying? NDAs and stuff, you know.
Okay then.
You signed an NDA
For a 10
off
day?
your 10 day?
Yes, sir.
You a big deal, bro.
Yeah.
Okay then.
You a big deal.
Yeah, we had to waive some physicals.
Boston.
That's why I need the NDA.
Wow.
I'm already talking too much, Greg. Where we going next?
Oh man, let's get out of here.
Boston Celtics are hooping too. Sheesh.
Yes, they are hooping. They are
starting to
Shout out Marcus Smart.
They are starting to catch a rhythm. I'm happy for them.
Back up everything you talk.
Yeah, they got Dennis Schroeder out of there.
Real quick.
Derek White.
All of a sudden, everything's starting to make sense.
Yeah, they probably knew something was wrong. They were like, Dennis Schroeder, you did turn down all that money, and then we're finding out why. There was just something that didn't click.
Oh,
Decision-making ability.
We'll see, man. We'll see. I'm excited.
Talking about turnover. He's going to be a point guard turning over M's like that.
Now he's in Houston.
Shout out to my boy Josh Giddey. I'm just going to get that out the way
Shout out
again. I
Josh
feel like I said that like 3-4 times already, but shout out to Sam Presti and Josh Giddey.
Hype your team up, man. Hype your team up.
That boy's the truth. I'm excited. I'm excited for 2028, man.
I think somebody pointed out a stat the other day, like the University of Richmond's team is like older than the OKC starting five.
That's crazy.
That's disgusting.
That's crazy.
That is... I don't know what... Oh, man.
Who looks worse?
Yeah, I don't know who's what. Like, is it NBA or should I look at college? Like, what is happening?
Yeah, I pulled it up. Richmond has an average age in the starting lineup of 23.2. OKC has 21.4.
21.
That's OKC's fault. That's okay. No NBA team should have a younger team than a college team.
That's crazy.
Woo, that's hilarious.
But that's wild. Like, shout out to those young boys. They got some fourth graders on the way in a couple years too.
Can't wait, bro. Can't wait.
Yo,
Still aren't the
2027
worst
picks.
team in the league.
It still aren't the worst team in the league, man. That's the funny part.
What's the worst team in the league
Houston's
right now?
worst?
Houston,
Houston,
Pistons?
Orlando, and Pistons.
Nah, that's
all
what I
first.
thought, yeah. Forgot about Orlando. Good Lord.
Everybody forgets about
I was like,
Orlando.
they're an NBA team?
Everybody forgets about Orlando.
Some of the let's move. Let's get out of here, man. Let's get out of here because some of the Orlando guys did pop up in the All-Star Cole Rocks,
mooning people on the like the free throw line.
I don't know what Cole was doing, bro. I don't know
that
what
was
Cole was
wild.
doing.
Trying to win a game.
That's the kind of guy James Harden want to play with. Oh man, but Cade Cunningham wins MVP of the NBA All-Star Rising Stars game. The games were pretty good. Like I said, I am a little disappointed in certain matchups I didn't get to see. But all in all, I think this was a success. They probably will continue this for a considerable amount of time. I feel bad. Jalen Suggs smoked that free throw.
Off the glass putback was crazy though, from Suggs to Anthony.
Yeah, that was nice. Yeah, that was good. And then lastly, last night, I'm gonna talk about Myles Garrett, celebrity game. But
Taking Zion's spot. You need a 300-pounder that can windmill.
Hey.
That's all I'm saying.
Bill Walton should have got him out of there, dog.
I mean, theoretically, Myles Garrett, like, if he signed a contract today, he would play more games than Zion this season. He'd be more available.
Y'all nasty.
Myles Garrett, he can give you minimum your 6 fouls. Zion can't give you that right now. That's all I'm saying.
It'll be in the books.
It'll be in the books. No more DMPs.
Minutes played. He said he would get about 30-something games in. If he came in right after football season ended every year, he would get about 35 games in every year. Hey.
Y'all nasty.
Bo Jackson, baby.
Last but not least, shout out to the first highlight versus between AI and TMac. We talked a little bit about this.
Yeah.
I watched it. You're right. You're right.
Well,
It's Allen
what you
Iverson.
right about?
I initially said that I don't know, man. If they're picking their own highlights, AI could mess this up.
How dare you?
AI could mess this up. T-Mac might actually have a couple plays in there that might, throw AI off his game.
Bro, Allen Iverson
for
could
those who
take
don't-
11 from the same year.
And for those who don't,
like, no, on some real.
and for those who don't know, you pick 10 of your best highlights, and then you pick your one iconic highlight. And of course, their iconic highlight was T-Mac picked his 35 seconds versus the Spurs, and then AI picked a step over on Ty Lue. And then in the beginning they ran through their 10 plays and then they led up to the 11th. Yeah. I think I clocked T-Mac at 2.
That's not surprising.
I clocked T-Mac at 2.
I told you,
How
like
dare
4
you have
people
doubt?
hanging with him.
How
Had a
dare
little
you?
bit
It's
of
Allen
doubt,
Iverson,
Had a
bro.
little bit of doubt.
Allen Iverson.
We should revoke your driver's license.
What?
Anything
Something.
you got that says Virginia on it,
Yeah, fair.
that, dog.
Like I
Fair.
said, I think the whole thing
Give me
personally
that.
ends at the iconic moment. All Allen Iverson had to say is, "Yo, T-Mac, this whole thing is over. I have something you don't have, a finals highlight,
Nah, fair.
and it's over. Like the conversation's dead."
It's only like 3-4 people that can hang with AI in terms of highlights. That's it. I don't know who those 3 or 4 are yet. 2 probably careers aren't done.
Yeah,
And the other one is MJ.
Yeah, I think this is good though. It definitely looked a little like they were still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, they have
Yeah,
to.
absolutely.
makes sense.
Just like the first
first
verses.
verses.
Like it looked like, and some people were calling it trash, and it was boring. I said we gotta give them time. They put this out. It was uncensored too, so that was funny.
I didn't know it was uncensored.
because AI was talking crazy.
You know he will.
Yes,
No, he
sir.
will.
yes, sir.
No, he will. Oh, he was talking crazy. Yeah, it was. I'm just so used to AI talking like that because you know, if you watch All the Smoke, you get used to the uncensored retired players. So I'm
Right.
like, it was uncensored. AI is always uncensored.
Yeah, but they had Shaq on stage. They had Fat Joe on stage.
Joey Crack was on stage.
Today's
DJ
price
Envy-
is not yesterday's
DJ
price.
Envy was
What?
was the DJ.
Okay,
was
DJ
in the
Envy,
moment.
I guess.
I think Taylor Rooks hosted it.
Nah, Fat Joe being on stage makes sense actually.
Shout out to Taylor Rooks.
It does. He was big in the basketball world. They were supposed to put on that 5-on-5 versus Jay-Z and that team at the Record Park all those years ago. I remember all this stuff. Yeah, so my bad,
The
Joey
fact that you
Crack.
remember that?
Nah, my bad, because I disrespected him, so I got to come back and be like, yeah, you've been in the basketball game way longer than I've been alive. Shout out to Fat Joe.
So
he be at the verses. So
Slimmer Joe. Yeah, he do be at the verses.
be at the verses.
So it was. So I think this is something they could definitely move forward. They just got to get the matchups right from here on. Again, they got to get the matchups right from here on.
Yeah, they chose big names, but it's Allen Iverson. He's going to win a highlight.
I mean, I think they picked 2 names that were fairly still like in the limelight in terms of just retiring. Yeah. They're both revered as guys that we love as hoopers.
Yes, but AI is clearly a tier above T-Mac.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, T-Mac.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not.
mean,
it's
This
true.
is- we're talking about the verses.
I'm just talking about in terms of career, achievements. Like AI is a clear tier above T-Mac.
Like I always say, we're always
Like-
gonna say it. T-Mac, if it was one injury less,
Like
a whole lot changes.
Like the person I would have wanted to see against AI because I think it would have been an interesting style clash would have been like Vince Carter. Like that would have been an
Interesting style clash. I can see what you
like,
mean. Yeah.
And granted, I still think AI's probably in terms of just greatness a tier above Vince Carter. But if we're just talking highlights,
Yeah.
Vince Carter's highlights would stand up well to AI's.
They
AI
stand
still
up
might
well.
win,
I think
but it would be interesting.
I always said the difference is AI was punching on people. So he has highlights of him. I told one of my favorites, the free throw. You miss your free throw. He comes in jets from the 3-point line and puts it back at 6 foot. Like I get it, like the high flyer, you're punching on a footer's head. But eventually Vince Carter, like, is 11 of your 11 highlights going to be dunks? Because you're not going to win that
I mean,
versus.
he has some ridiculous stuff.
man, I mean, he could go.
He
back,
cleared
back.
a 7-footer.
I get it. That's the iconic one.
But then
No, but we're alive. Like, it's no disrespect, but
Like
AI
his,
could put
his
together-
dunk contest alone is like 2 highlights.
Yeah, that's 2. You
I-
got the one when he cleared him in FIBA, or that was Olympics. You got the one on Alonzo Mourning.
yeah.
That was nasty. Like it could get interesting. It could definitely get interesting.
I think
My
Vince Carter
money-
does
my
better
money-
than T-Mac, though.
Fact.
But
That's
my
all-
money's on
that's all I'm
AI.
saying. My money would still be on
Always.
AI.
Yeah.
But I think it would be much more
Vince Carter does
interesting
better than
T-Mac.
T-Mac for sure. Like, we just had to discuss it for a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I don't have to discuss the T-Mac one. I have no idea what was going on through your head last week, Greg. I'm just going to assume you retired.
I appreciate that. I appreciate the bailout. But yeah, man. So I definitely want to see more of those.
So what's your dream matchup then?
Oh man, that's a good question. I haven't thought about that.
Curry, AI, maybe. When it's all said and
Curry,
done.
AI?
Yeah, when it's all said and done.
Interesting. I just want to see the level of petty. It will never ever happen. But LeBron MJ.
LeBron MJ.
Just for the level of petty that would happen on
It's-
stage. It will never happen.
I was about
it
to
will
say.
never happen.
The
Jay
world would
smoking that
riot,
one.
dog.
Right, no doubt. But the level, and it would, and granted, Twitter and basketball.
Well, it wouldn't be close.
Oh
bro.
my God, social media would shut down. But the
It would be
level
so
of
much
petty
beef.
that would be on the stage
I would hate that.
would be hilarious.
MJ might use all finals
That's,
highlights.
I'm not even gonna kick it, bro. That's $49.99.
You're paying for that.
That's a pay per view,
We're
dog.
splitting it.
That, no, for sure. But
I
that's
was like, I
definitely.
ain't paying $50. I'll catch that joint off Reddit, NBA streams, crack
Bring
XYZ.
it back.
But
Bring
that,
it back.
I'm telling you, if that happened, because this was free, like they streamed
Yeah.
it straight from the app. But if that ever happened,
I feel you.
that's $49.99, bro.
Nah, that's
I'm
blockbuster.
with
Though.
it.
that's
That
blockbuster.
is that is
That's
Mayweather. That's Mayweather.
Hey, I get it.
McGregor, like it,
Like you could put that on at Saturday at 11. No, that's challenging
with it.
fights. Like
I'm with it.
MJ Braun sit down highlight battle could
I'm with all
challenge
of it. Like
UFC fights.
That is the dream. Like I said, I don't think either one would ever actually agree to it. Cause
MJ would.
I don't think MJ would.
MJ's that competitive. I think he would.
I don't think he would.
I think he would because I think he thinks he's gonna win.
He'll
I
put
think-
money on it.
I think MJ wouldn't do it. The only reason why MJ wouldn't do it is because he wouldn't trust his fan base to run to the internet to vote.
Okay, that's
Like
fair.
that's the only reason
That's
why.
fair.
I don't think.
And
he would
so
think-
the
I don't
narrative
think
would-
he would think that.
Like
deeply
I could see
into it.
MJ totally spinning into this is the only way LeBron can ever beat me is through this.
Fair.
And he would just walk away from it. Like I could totally
do
see
social
MJ
media and
spinning
stuff like that, but it couldn't be like I wouldn't want to form a vote.
I feel you.
Like
Yeah,
you know how
you voted
this
on
wasn't
each play.
on a vote.
Yeah, you voted on each round, and then you voted at the end.
I don't think I would want to vote for MJ versus Braun, period,
You
because
just
I
want- you just
know
want to sit back and
I know
watch.
It's
how
gotta
the
be on
kids are
some
gonna skew it.
caffeine
Yeah.
battle rap. We just watch
Yeah.
it and then
Watch this joint.
Like, it is what it
You
is.
gonna
Nah,
see-
caffeine, they vote. What
They
you mean?
vote each round.
Yes.
Word
No, they vote at the end. I'm sorry.
at the end. Yeah, I don't think they voted.
I don't
Yeah,
need
they
no
voted
vote.
around.
I
They
just
voted
need everybody
around.
on stage to get hype and all the oohs and ahs from the highlights and be like,
I just want to see that level of petty on stage.
They got enough, dog.
Oh, they got more than
They
enough.
got enough. We need at least 15.
Those highlights would be insane.
We need at least
you get a
15.
30 for 30 on
Like
them.
they can't even be 10 on that one. It has to be like
It has to be a
15.
championship round.
We might need a
15,
halftime
yeah.
show.
It has to be 15.
Like UFC fights are 5. The championship rounds are 5. Like, yeah, you're gonna need some extra rounds.
We
on
might
that
need
joint.
a halftime show, bro.
You don't have to have a halftime show. Beyonce about to come out sing. She does the national anthem, the black national anthem. As that lift every voice.
Cole
and sing.
Kendrick and Drake do
Yup.
the halftime show.
Yeah, they do
Like,
their
I-
version of Forever.
I can just hear,
Took that personally.
I can just hear all the comments from both of them, like just going back and forth. Like MJ puts up the Utah highlight. Hey LeBron,
That's-
this is something you haven't done before. Game
he
winner.
can't, he literally that could be his iconic. You can't beat that.
You can't.
You're blocked by Oyo Iguodala. Amazing, one of the greatest highlights ever. It's not game winning. Let's go home.
What's about is that for Detroit?
No,
That's
it's
about-
I
Utah.
think Utah.
No, I'm talking about the one. I'm talking about Braun.
Oh.
That the game, whatever. Was it Detroit he played?
You talking
in?
about-
With
Oh, you talking about
Wizards.
he dropped like 800 points in a row in Detroit?
Wasn't that game winning that moment? He dropped like 35 straight or something.
No,
Like, it was ridiculous.
I can't remember that. I
Or
can't remember
27
what
straight,
game
something
that
like
was.
He,
LeBron
you talking
though?
about the game when he hit
The
the
game when
Orlando?
Orlando.
Oh,
okay.
Orlando, yeah.
Yeah, he
The one
lost.
he banked, yeah. That was
He
the
lost.
nah. They got 2 games that series, didn't they?
They got 2 games, but I'm talking
Oh,
about
they
the
did
series.
lose the
Yeah.
series.
Yeah, they lost the series
We're not
4-2.
clocking the series. We're clocking the
I feel
highlight.
you. I'm just telling you.
If you
MJ's
want to be
gonna-
real, they got smacked that series.
Fact.
They just won that game off a buzzer beater,
True.
and then they won
I
another
do.
game.
I do
like-
expect Jordan
like,
to bring that up.
MJ's
but,
just gonna be like this.
But
why is
fans
this a
aren't
highlight?
clocking
You
that.
lost.
Yeah.
MJ would literally say that on stage. Why is
This
this
is not a highlight you lost. At least AI iconic highlight he won.
Like,
That was game 1.
Like that would be MJ saying in almost half of LeBron's highlights. Almost it feels like, dude, why is this a highlight? You lost.
Jordan be like, yeah, fast forward to the end of the game. Let's check the box. Let's check the box.
What if
score.
Jordan doesn't show a highlight? He burns one of his moments on a low light from
from
Braun.
Braun? Jordan's not that petty. He's not that petty. He's not that petty.
That would be crazy.
He is not
What
that
if he
petty.
what if he burns it? He's at the free throw line and he's seeing Kawhi come in the game like, God dang it.
I would love that.
That'd be sick.
But I would totally see him doing it. Like
I would
we're
love for
essentially-
him to.
We are essentially imagining MJ being like the loaded Lux of like this versus right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to match up.
Man, nah, MJ is a menace though. He just lied for a whole 10-part documentary, so I can't say he won't or will do anything. But I don't think on something of this level he would turn to that level of petty.
I don't know, bro. It's a reason why. Reason why Jay-Z hasn't done a versus yet, and I'm just gonna leave it at that.
I don't think it's because it's no reason for him to.
I took that personally.
It's a reason why Hov ain't do it, bro.
Like,
I don't think
it can be stressed enough.
There's certain catalogs you don't want to
That's what you meant. Yeah,
don't
exactly.
want to bother,
fair.
bro.
But I can't stress this enough, and I get it. MJ will never actually say this. MJ does not like LeBron.
I mean, I don't think that was like really a secret.
It's not a secret.
It's not out and
but
open
it's
and
something
publicly
that's not publicly
stated.
said. Like, it's always like, oh, we're cool. Like, he supports LeBron.
But we would have seen it if it
but
was.
we've seen it. So to your point of like you're saying like he wouldn't go that far. I think if he got put into a situation where it was like, no, you have to face off against LeBron in this versus we're gonna pay. It's gonna be pay-per-view. It's gonna be the most watched thing on sports for the next 10 years.
For sure.
I think MJ would go in all guns blazing, no holding back. No, like he's gonna have the cigar.
If he felt like that was gonna make him win, yeah,
All
like
the rings
period.
on. He's
Just like his
all
whole,
the rings,
all the
just
rings on.
yeah,
He's
all
like,
You
that.
want to know how I know?
Let me press the space button.
Fact. You want to know how I know he's gonna do that? His Hall of Fame speech.
That's true. That's true.
He had no reason to be that petty in his Hall of Fame speech.
Yeah, he did.
Where he's
he had to let him know.
He is universally being recognized as the GOAT.
Still
and
not
he
respected
still was
enough.
like,
Still not enough.
mess with you. I don't like you. I don't like you. You held me back. You held me back. Forget you, and forget you. And I'm the GOAT. See y'all later.
It was real legit 30 minutes of that.
It was legit 30 minutes of that. So you can't tell me if you literally made him face off against the one person who, it ain't even like it would be Kobe. Because if it was Kobe and MJ on stage, it would be a mutual respect.
It would be an act. They would do the verses correctly. I can see what you mean. Yeah,
They would have been a mutual respect.
yeah. They would like, hey, let's take our 11 or 15, line
We're
them
gonna have
up,
fun with it.
jabs
whatever.
here, jabs there. I can see what you mean. It could get
LeBron
petty.
and
It could
MJ
get petty.
is going.
Y'all
I
have
think
convinced
it would
me.
get disrespectful.
Y'all have convinced me.
I've switched.
I know, yeah, because when the parallel, because I've always seen like Hov and Jordan as like parallel.
Yeah.
I don't think Hov is gonna ever get that petty.
I feel you.
Jordan will. Jordan will. I forgot about the whole Last Dance documentary and everything. I'm like, you done lied about not having Isaiah Thomas on the Olympic team for how many years?
Everything about Jordan screams petty. Everything.
Shout out Jordan.
Let's get out of here, dog. Let's get out
When
of
you're
here.
at the top looking down, there's only but so many that can judge you.
Leave that man alone, bro. Leave Hov alone.
Menace.
I say don't.
Leave
It's
Jordan
entertaining when
alone,
people don't.
bro.
Nah, menace.
Somebody got to be stupid enough to poke the bear.
Don't bother those people, man. Don't bother those people. They the GOATs for the reason, man.
Menace.
But we out of here, man. It's been a good episode. Very, very good episode for really mild talk. I feel like we know all this stuff, but we appreciate everyone who's been with us, been listening on all the audio platforms, Google, Spotify, Apple, and show us some love, man. Like the show, rate the show, 5 stars. It's February. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Nobody cares about the dunk contest or 3-point contest this year?
But no,
I'm not.
Okay.
No.
All right, I'm done. That's what I just asked.
I mean,
Okay. It's all good. I was just wondering.
it could be sneaky good, but I'm not going in excited.
Sneaky good.
Okay. Fair enough. I just asked a question.
Yeah. Just wait for the All-Star game. Essentially, I think Ja can go dumb. I think he's gonna try and win this. He's gonna pull like a.
I think it would be more competitive than what people expect it to be.
You think so?
I think so.
Have they still announced if it's the same format? That's the one thing I want to know. Is it the same
It's the
format?
same
as
format.
last
It's the
year?
same
Okay.
format.
That's all. I didn't see anything. Okay. Yeah, I'll watch it then.
Especially with people thinking Team Durant about to just get smoked because of like.
He has no picks.
Yeah, Rudy Gobert.
The fact that he picked Rudy over James Harden.
Let's get out of here, bro. Let's get out of here.
It shows you the validation of all those statements.
Let's get out of here. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the show, like the show, comment below, join the conversation. We definitely want to get in there and chop it up with y'all as best as we can. To all the people who are like checking us out on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok too. Like, thank y'all. Appreciate y'all. All the love y'all showing in those spaces as well. And yeah, we out of here. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. As always, eat, sleep, breathe the game. Be safe. We out.
Pound it.
It would be so fun.